Welcome to the Speaking Podcast. You can find all our episodes on speakingpodcast.com. My guest today, co-founder of holistic wellness platform for women, NourishDoc. I believe it's nourishdoc.com, and I'll put the link in the show notes. She's from San Francisco in the USA. Please welcome Amita Sharma.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm amazed at so many podcasts that you're doing. So hats off to you.
No problem. I'm actually looking forward to this because it's not a topic that I've actually covered, but it's a very relevant topic, and hence why I said, "Oh, this should be a good one to do." But I suppose let's kind of learn a little bit more about Amita, like your journey, and then how you got into what you're doing.
So I actually studied architecture and I am here sitting in front of you. So I've gone through my changes of careers in the last so many years. And the journey, I got into corporate software tech. I was fascinated by it. And during this whole working at the corporate, it's just a cutthroat kind of a world in technology, especially as you know. Um, I reached at a certain level and I started experiencing some strange symptoms. And that's kind of how this whole idea of the holistic journey started in my head. And then I kind of helped myself. And then I said, okay, well, how can I help others, including men and women at that time? So that's sort of like a little bit of journey that I have gone through and where I am at a point that I think that this is something where the whole world is. The holistic lifestyle is something that we need to embrace to take care of all the stress, to take care of all the fast paced, and in particular, I'm focusing on women first, but men are also no different.
Okay, so the main thing is navigating hormonal transition from PMS to peri. I didn't know what that was. I had to look it up, to be honest. And post-menopause. So first of all, you might let people know, because I'm sure there's probably, well, maybe women would know, but maybe there's other men like me didn't know what it means.
No, actually, you'll be surprised. Women also don't understand it. And, I'm one of them. I had no clue what the word means, perimenopause. So just to give you an overview to your viewers, women, we're talking about women here because that's what I focus on women, but even men, we all go through a lot of hormonal transition from puberty, for women, menstrual health starts, and then PMS is basically premenstrual syndrome. Women have that, and then you move on to your next stage of life is perimenopause. It's basically years of transition before women actually stop their menstrual health, and that transition period is called perimenopause. And so that's the stage, and years, or could be 10 years. Women are having hot flashes, sleep issues, relationship issues, you name it. In fact, in UK, 60% of women who get divorced are during these years, believe it or not. That's the data. So men are also impacted. Don't think that men are not impacted here. And then we go to the menopause, which is technically reverse of puberty. The menstrual health stops for women. And then after that, they get into the postmenopause. And women live one third of their life in this whole perimenopause, postmenopause, and we never talk about it all over the world. Well, UK is probably different now. UK has become, very vocal about this, this issue, but rest of the world is just beginning to wake up.
And like, there's all different ages that this happens. And I know that you've talked to thousands of experts. And what I'm curious about is there a difference between those in the West who would have a load of toxins and different things that they take compared to countries that wouldn't be having all these different toxins? Is there a difference, or are all women kind of similar?
So there is a huge difference between the West and the East. Yes, I have talked to almost 3,000 or maybe 4,000 holistic experts as well as women around the world, including West, East, everywhere, Africa, everywhere. So, like I said, UK is very vocal, which is amazing. People talk about it openly because I think a lot of percentage of women, more than 50% of the women in the workforce are menopausal. So it impacts their, the work. Now, if you go to a country like India, as an example, well, everybody knows this is a problem, but nobody wants to talk about it. It's the so there are a lot of cultural differences. If you go to a Muslim country, they don't talk about it, as an example. So I think it really comes down to the cultural differences, and also the number of women in these countries at this stage of what we are talking about, perimenopause and menopause, are not in the workforce, as opposed to in Western countries like US and UK and Ireland and Australia or whatever. So it comes down to the workforce, because if we are working at this age, we are more vocal, we are educated, we have some voice. If versus a woman who is stopped working or who's not working and sitting at home. So that is the cultural difference, is what I have found. These women don't work after age of 40, 45. They drop out of work, and they don't talk about it. But in Western countries, women are more, vocal about it. So that's a huge difference. And I'm trying to bridge the gap, in the sense I'm trying to bring a voice to this issue worldwide, right? If I may say so. But even if I can make a small difference, that would be amazing.
And I mean, like for say Ireland, I mean, I'm Irish, but I'm living in Poland, and then English
Oh,
and America.
okay.
A lot of the people, like women, would actually work till the kind of retirement age, which kind of keeps extending. But let's say it's 65 at the moment. So this is
Yes.
occurring while they're in business, while they're working, and like
Mhm.
how do they navigate it? Because like not everybody understands it. And if you're going through something that's really your, emotion. I think I heard you saying there's something like 30 different symptoms or something like that. So if people
Mhm.
are experiencing all these different things and you're not getting support from the workforce, it
Mhm.
must be very difficult for the individual themselves.
It is very, very difficult. See, that is where what the problem is, that we women, in fact, the society does not understand that women can start having these symptoms as early as in the late 30s, as an example, and you're at the prime age of work, or, in workforce. 40s is very normal, because age 51 is when, the menopause happens, typically, an average age, I would say that. So 10 years before, a lot of women in their 40s have started having these issues, and it's very difficult and challenging. If you are having symptoms, for me, it was extremely challenging for me to concentrate at work, to having these hot flashes, all these strange symptoms that you talk about. I had quite a few of them. And it was, honestly, now I can laugh about it, but at that time, to be able to not look professional, to be able to, you need the money at that time, you want a career to go at a certain point, right? When you are in your 40s, all these things, and women are, highly educated, they peak at their careers at around 50, they can become CEOs, or there, all these things can get impacted, and we are not talking about it at work and not supporting these women, sort of like a health equity issue. But I would not blame only the corporates here. I would also say that women also have not talked about it openly. So if you don't talk about it, bring the topic out, because they are scared. And I was too, that being judged or being ashamed or being stigma and the taboo. So all these reasons, we women have not really talked about it openly until just a few years back, like a couple of years back. We see now the articles, we see New York Times, we see people covering this topic now.
And like I love the way you're kind of doing the holistic route because
Mhm.
unfortunately, I mean, I say that in a lot of my awakening podcasts, like I kind of expose a lot of the stuff that, the big pharma, because, a lot of doctors, they get bonuses as well for prescribing something. And I know for this, because I have heard about it, they have the magic pill for this as well. And I've heard
Yes.
it ain't great.
Yeah.
I know one person it worked very well for, but usually it actually makes them worse. And I know the toxins you're so just you might just touch on what you're aware of in the kind of, let's say, the drug side of things that the
Mhm.
doctors push.
Yes. So the drug side of thing, what I am aware of is there is a pill for hot flashes, and it probably I have not tried it, so I cannot tell you my from whatever I've read. Now the the thing is, it might work for hot flashes, but the issue is, hot flash menopause is not only about hot flashes. The media says, oh my God, I am in menopause, I am hot flashes, right? People just kind of go like that. It's not only about hot flashes. There's so many other things that are happening. So maybe that pill can fix the hot flashes, but it can't fix so many other things. As an example, now there is HRT, hormone replacement therapy, and bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Now in UK, most of the women that I have talked to, they are getting HRT, and it is proved to be safe now. Now, earlier in the 1970s, if you look at the research, there was a whole research study that came that women can have breast cancer, all kind of scariness, and everybody stopped prescribing HRT. Now, the thing is, it's not every woman can take HRT, and I don't know if every woman should take HRT if she is normal. For example, a breast cancer survivor, a cancer survivor, probably cannot take HRT. She needs to go to the holistic lifestyle, as an example, right? So there's a lot of confusion and a lot of confusion about this whole HRT, BHRT, all these things. But overall, from what the studies I have seen, is considered to be safe now. But even if you take HRT as a woman, you still need to incorporate holistic lifestyle. If you, let's say, a pill is not going to fix all the problems, you still need to eat right. You still need to move right. You still need to, do all the things to nourish your body. If you don't do it, no matter what kind of pill you take, you are not going to feel, feel normal. I should say that.
And because some women would get a hysterectomy just sometimes due to medical conditions, others choose to do that. But I've heard, because I was looking at this, because I mean I didn't know much about it, but I heard
Yeah.
you still can go through the menopause as well, because sometimes they
Yes.
leave the ovaries and
Yes. Early menopause is actually, according to the research, can be linked to chronic rise of chronic diseases at a later stage. Also, if someone gets a early menopause young, like 30s, so then, I mean, doctors can prescribe HRT because your hormones are depleting. You don't want your hormones to be depleting at an early age. You need those hormones, the female sex hormones, the estrogen and progesterone. So that is a completely different problem. If you come to the early menopause, from the research that I have gone through all over the world, Muslim women, as an example, get earlier menopause 5 or 6 years earlier than Western women. So that's not good either.
is
An
that
average.
because they tend to have a lot more children, or what's the reason behind that?
Nobody has done such a deep research and study into why, but the data is that even Indian women get menopause in mid 40s, and it could be because of the reasons could be because of the environment, because of the society pressure, right? The stress and the hidden relationship pressure, society pressure, culture, so many things, or maybe the food habits. But in the world, these women are getting earlier menopause than the average age of 51, 52. And that is typically, if you look at the data, the rise of chronic conditions in these countries for women is high, it is higher. And if you get earlier menopause and you don't have the hormones to support your body, all these things are all interlinked. And there's not enough research. See, the problem is there's not enough research done on this topic. We
Which
are
is
still
fascinating when you
beginning.
consider like half the
I
population
know.
go through this.
Yeah, I've tried my best to put this here, bring all the things together, but they're just beginning to do the research in America. They just started, Jill Biden, Joe Biden's wife, she just started the initiative a few months back. And now we hope that this will continue depending on the elections, right? So
And
that's the problem.
is there any, because I've heard of women starting their periods at 10 and others even 17 or 18. Is there any
Yeah.
correlation to those that start earlier when the menopause starts, or is it there's no kind of sequencing that people can go, okay, well, I can expect it'll be like, 35 years from when I started my period?
No, I think it's just so the data talks about if so a lot of women are getting earlier puberty as well. There's a lot of data that talks about typically the age was 12 and 13. And now, if you read about it, especially in other countries, 8 and 9 women are getting girls, actually, young girls. Can you imagine getting periods? So those women are probably going to get earlier menopause also because the body has all these system going on. So that data is there, right? Because the whole thing is shifting. And a lot of it, the research that I have seen, a lot of it is attributed to the environment, the lifestyle, what we are leading nowadays, and the stress. Because earlier, the life never used to be so stressful, and the lifestyle that we eating all kind of processed food, eating not at the right times, and also the stress that we have as a modern society. I'm not saying it's contributing to the earlier menopause, but it is one of the factors that is contributing to a lot of things in our body, including some of the chronic conditions. This also being one of them, possibly. But enough research has to validate exactly the link. But from the research I have seen, that's what I have seen the reasons to be.
And, like you mentioned, breast cancer, and it's just through my own research, all the different things they've done and some of the gets on. But I know that like underarm deodorant was basically blocking the pores, which meant that this was going into the breast, hence why a lot of people were getting cancer. But like
Yeah.
even like say the makeup, lipstick. I had somebody on
Yeah.
a chemist with the lip balm, like the hair dyes,
Mhm.
the makeup on the face, like perfume. Like I don't wear aftershave no more because I found out that actually is toxic. And I'm just curious, like the amount of these things that unfortunately people don't realize, or you're buying a product to stop aging, which is all a lie. People fall for this, but
Yes.
like I'm sure that that's not helping the situation. And that's why I was kind of at the start kind of questioning those in countries that wouldn't be wearing makeup, wouldn't have all these kind of, perfumes and things. They just live naturally. Or even if they're like, say, like the Hunza, because I mean, I remember studying the Hunza, they were living to over 100 and they had no doctors, hospitals, or anything. But I'm just curious, has anyone ever studied the Hunza when they're going through menopause? Is it the same?
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. All these personal care products that women use and all of us use, like including men, and what they call them is endocrine disruptors. They have all these strange things because of the chemicals they're putting, and we women put makeup and hair dye and all kind of things, right? You can think to look good, but what's happening is when they go in the body, they get absorbed through the skin very, very fast, and they are disrupting some of the things inside our body. And what is happening is we most of the women get estrogen dominant, all these things, and estrogen dominance towards the progesterone is very, very bad, and that also the studies have shown could be linked to cancer. But so all these things, you're absolutely right, all the things that we are doing, and that's why we should try to use organic, natural products, on our body, even not eat from the plastics. Food is very, very important, not eat processed food. Even frozen food, they put all kind of preservatives. We don't even know. We don't even understand that's a problem. There's hidden sugar inside, all kind of things, sugar free, and then there is something else, right? So it's not just one thing. There's the whole industry. The food industry is also culprit by fooling us. Oh, this is calorie free, and then there's something else inside, and
Yeah,
you
like the
think, okay,
Coke Zero,
it up,
people taking the
right?
zero when there's aspartame, which is 1,000 times
Yeah,
worse. Yeah. And like there was one
exactly.
recently, the Tampax, there's some toxic ingredient in there's
Oh my
something.
God.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, unfortunately, from everything I'm looking at, it's all orchestrated because there's no way this is just, oh, whoops, whoopsie do. Like it's like they're trying to make us ill constantly.
Yes.
And unfortunately, like not everybody is kind of trying to go the holistic approach and everything.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
so I suppose considering I mean, this is listening to something like 137 countries. So let's look at every country. Let's look at people with no budget at all. They're barely living week to week.
Yes.
And
Yes.
obviously, there's other people that can afford, usually in the West, in the UK, across the pond, like that. It's, they can
Yes.
afford to do different things.
Mhm.
But what advice would you give to people that will start kind of making it easier for them?
Yeah, so you have to pay attention to what you're eating, what you're putting on your body, what you are, right?
Basically, what we're talking about.
And it's difficult to go to the supermarket and you pick up without thinking, but you have to start paying attention. Otherwise, you don't know what you are ingesting inside your body, on your hair, everywhere else. And unfortunately, like you said, it's crazy because as a end consumer, a normal consumer does not understand so many things. You don't have the time. You're assuming that when you go to the supermarket, the product that you're picking is of good quality. It doesn't mean good quality, but it's not harming your system, which it is. That's the problem.
And
What do you do? I mean, seriously, you are in conundrum. You are.
I think it's just a case of people coming together. Because, like, even when I go to the supermarket, I use an app and I'm testing everything. I'm just doing scanning it, and the
Oh,
trickery
okay.
is unbelievable. It's like natural this. It can have
Yeah.
1% of something natural, and they can then use the word
Yes.
natural. They also have the ability of leaving out some of the ingredients with the trickery that
Hmm.
they do. And like, say, Lidl, which is a big supermarket it's in
Yeah.
Poland. It's all over because it's a German. There's Lidl and there's
Yeah.
Aldi,
Yeah.
and even the apples or whatever, like I was getting the apples there, ants won't eat it. So I was like, what are this? What exactly is this? And it was when I got apples from the farmer, I was like, it brought me back to my childhood. Oh, I remember this is what apples taste like. I know I go to like the local market, but even sometimes there, there's like trickery because you
Yeah.
buy stuff and you think it's good and then you just looking. But I just say it to people is if you don't know the ingredients or if there's a lot of ingredients, don't even think about it because there's
Yes.
it's very and like don't overwhelm yourself. Like the way I say it to people is do it weekly, and even the products at home, like dusting and like I use all natural stuff
Yes.
for mopping the floor, but most people don't even think of things like that. The stuff in cars, like the air fresheners, they're as toxic as you get, and people like
Yes.
you would think the government. You're on about Joe Biden's wife. Oh, she's after bringing in something. Like the reality is, like there's not one politician in the world that has helped people. They're all just part of this. And
Mhm.
like you have to kind of look at it that you have to look after yourself. So there's a few things that I saw. I mean, yoga and aromatherapy and things. Maybe touch on them. Like, how have you seen they help, or is it just a case of that you're like, you're getting your mind in order, your body in order, which in turn allows you then to think clearly, to be not reaching for the carbs and stuff like that.
No, no, no. You have to, so you have to rely on these holistic therapies, right? Because yoga is very powerful, by the way. Yoga has done so much research to help with all kind of issues, specifically for anxiety disorders, a lot of things, even gut health. So yoga is amazing, but yoga sometimes all women or men they cannot do because it is not easy, right, to do all these acrobatic postures. Uh, but you can start small. You can start with something simple as breathing techniques, learning how to breathe properly. Most of us don't breathe properly. So pranayama, which is a part of yoga, is different kind of breathing techniques that the yoga umbrella has, right? So that's one of the things that I'll say. Now, aromatherapy, essential oils are very powerful, but then again, you have to buy essential oils from a company that is selling you high quality, right? Essential oils. Again, God knows if it is inside something that is contaminated or putting something else. So you have to be careful where you're buying from. But the research talks about power of some lavender for sleep and so many other essential oils. As an example, aromatherapy. Now, the things that we can do is exercise. Hopefully, nothing is contaminated, right? Simple uh, um, Tai Chi, Qigong, like I said, breathing techniques, simple learning to walk in the forest bathing, or even a simple exercises. All these will help you. Now, when it comes to food, food is extremely important. Food as medicine. Now, again, you have to buy the right ingredients, but you can nourish yourself with proper ingredients and food. Now, herbs and supplements are also very powerful. Then again, you want to make sure herbs are not mixed with dust, so to speak. And recently, I saw an article. People, some of these herbal companies, they're not much better than the pharmaceutical. They were mixing all kind of things in the herbs and selling it as herbal supplements. So that's really the problem right now.
And there's CBT.
Oh,
Then
yes. Cognitive behavior therapy is something you don't need a new product, and that is also very powerful. Hypnotherapy is also very powerful. You can do counseling sessions or self-induced hypnotherapy, meditation. Sometimes meditation doesn't mean sitting still for 2 minutes. Meditation can also be listening to some music and just calm yourself, right? Sound therapy is very powerful. Dance therapy is very powerful. This does not include all these products ingesting. So there are a lot of things. Acupressure is powerful. Acupuncture is powerful. Inserting needles at the meridian points, and it helps you. So
and the tap
counseling.
EFT, is it? The
Yeah, the
tap.
tapping. Yeah, the tapping is powerful. EFT. Even Ayurveda. Ayurveda has amazing, amazing toolkits. Massage therapy. Ayurveda has all these medicinal oils that you can slather yourself, or you go to an Ayurveda, studio. Then they have different type of massage therapies, massages with medicated oils that can help you. Even hair oils, some of the the hair massage that also helps you. So just a simple example, Ayurveda also has something called Panchkarma detoxification. Basically, we were talking about all the chemicals and the endocrine disruptors inside the body. It's very important for us, the way we are living, to have cleanse, right? Cleansing our body on regular intervals. And Ayurveda talks about cleansing your body at least 2 times in a year. So you can do a simple cleanse of your body. They have what they call as panchkarma, but that could be a very laborious for a normal person to go through. But simple cleansing like mono diet for 3 days, things like that it helps to cleanse your system. So that's very important. So these are the things we can all do, right? This does not require us to have a PhD in all the ingredients, but this is simple things.
And for like maybe teenage kids or the husband, boyfriend, whatever, living
Yes.
with somebody going through this, how can they be supportive? Because sometimes they're just reacting on emotions when somebody's going through something without actually taking a step back and thinking, what are they going through? Is there any kind of techniques or what people should try to do that will help the situation?
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many guys who've interviewed me. They asked me the same question because their girlfriend was going through some issues. So open communication. Most of the women, you have to understand, your partner might not even talk to you about the issues that she's having, because she herself doesn't understand that she might be going through what we just talked about. That honestly is the problem. So really understanding that I think men need to understand about this because it impacts their entire life relationships. So open communication is very important. Just as a thing, it also can impact sexual health. So that also can impact relationships. But we don't talk about this also. We are too scared to talk about it. Women might not talk about it to their partners, as an example, right? So I think men need, first of all, men need to understand that women might be going through this, and women also need to understand that they're going through this. It's a lack of awareness. And then once you understand that you might be going through this, what is it that you're going through? There is obviously a hormonal imbalance that's happening in your body. So you need to kind of bring it to some kind of a normalcy, right? So how do you do that? So I think this first step is the awareness, and then the second step is, okay, I've got something going on that's not balanced. What do I do about it, right? So these are the steps.
And like with the sexual, desire going down. And
Mm-hmm.
as you mentioned, there was a high percentage of people, that
Mm-hmm.
go through divorce on that. And I mean,
Yes.
it's obviously understandable because like you could have an active sex life, for 30 years, whatever it is, and then it just changes. So your partner's
Yes.
actually used to it and then it just stops,
Yeah.
which isn't nice for
Complete.
them as well. So
Yes.
like how do we stop this divorce rate when we know that it's actually not their
Mm-hmm.
fault? Like what,
Mm-hmm. And it's happening not only in Western countries, by the way, it's also beginning to happen in some Eastern countries as well, because as women get, as we all have more materialistic wealth, right, that has been distributed. So I think the stopping is really women need to step up in the sense and be aware of the problems they're having and be, talk about this and be very proactive in taking care of the problems that they're having. That is, I think, one of the key reasons is that women are sometimes they hold on to all the issues and they say, no, I can fix it, or it's okay, or we ignore it, right? The whole thing is you cannot ignore because it's going to impact your relationships. So you really need to understand the hormonal imbalance or the symptoms or whatever is happening in your body. You need to be openly talking about get help, get counseling, or get some help, talk to a naturopathic doctor or talk to someone to help yourself. That is very, very important. And your spouse or your partner, they need also, can support you, but you have to come out and talk about it, right, as a woman. Otherwise, how do you know what something is wrong? I mean, I'm telling you from my experience, I was so scared to talk about it because I thought people will judge me, right? And people will say, oh my God, now you cannot work, you are not productive. I was scared that, I might face age discrimination, all these things, right? All these thoughts come into your head. And then you get all this anxiety. And so slowly, I had to come to terms with, no, it's okay, and I need to be okay, and how do I take care? So I seek help. But if you don't seek help, then you are going to go into this roller coaster or some kind of a downward spiral into your relationships, into yourself. You could also, all these things we are talking about could go be negative. And most of the women, if you see, they don't talk about it, and then they start going negative, and then they say, oh, it's part of age. Well, yes, it is part of age, but you can do something about it.
Yeah, excellent. And I'm just curious because like when I look at social media and I see, say, the YouTube channels and stuff like that, and then it's like,
Yeah.
let's call it censorship. And I think it's something similar with you. So have you experienced that? Because, before you'd get your message out, you put out a video loaded. And I mean, I get serious censorship. I got removed on so many channels. I get strikes and everything. And I know that
Oh, yeah.
anybody that's trying to promote stuff
Yeah.
that's helping people, and like, have you experienced much of that?
Yeah, Facebook actually banned me, believe it or not. I had to stop talking about all this, the sexual health and all these issues. They completely banned me. I can't even advertise. I'm not joking. It is true. I cannot advertise on Facebook. I can just post, and I have to be very careful what I'm posting. So that's why I wanted to seek out podcasts like yourself and other podcasts, so where we can talk openly. Yes, there is a lot of censorship, and also there was one company who, here is the thing. We never talk bad about pharmaceuticals because there is a place for everything. But the companies who have talked bad about pharmaceuticals, as an example, are completely strike and censors and all those things. Yes, that sometimes is happening to some of the companies. So we have never said anything bad about XYZ. What we are trying to do is really advocate what is good, not paying attention to, okay, this company, that company. So then I think it's okay. We are advocating yoga. It's okay to advocate yoga. So as long as you do that, I think you're in the safe space. If you start going somewhere, kind of taking claims, or do this and you will be fixed, that's where they start striking you, or you talk about some topics on sexual health, they start striking you. They think that my God, you're talking some porn or something, which is not true. You're just trying to bring the message across, right? That's what we are trying to do. And that's probably you're trying to do too.
No, I mean, I've seen loads of people that are doing natural stuff and everything. They've all been attacked, and people talking the opposite are just doing terrible things and sharing. They're promoted.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes.
but so that's why I class it as a brownie point. Like, it's like, okay, I'm doing something right when they're trying to stop me. So that's so good for you for getting a strike on Facebook. It
I
means
know.
you.
I had to look out of Facebook.
And like just finally with the company then, like you might
Yes.
let people know what exactly that you're offering.
Yeah, so the whole idea is with NourishDoc is to create a holistic wellness platform for women to learn about this whole phase of their life, from perimenopause to postmenopause. And then once they learn what this is what is it that they can do that is, holistic lifestyle? So what we've done is, according to the symptoms, like I said, menopause is not only about hot flashes. There are about 34 plus symptoms, but we have about 21 programs that cater to symptom wise what women can do and start taking simple actions in terms of their diet, in terms of the movement, in terms of the hypnotherapy, all the holistic therapies that we talked about. And they can at least start going towards something that's normal. And then, if they need a one on one with a naturopathic doctor, we also have that as a concierge service. So, we are really trying to tackle this entire gamut of secrecy, so to speak, during the mid-age life of a woman and open it up and for a dialogue, for a discussion, and it's okay. And that's what we're really trying to do.
No, beautiful. I love what you're doing, and I think it's badly needed. So you might let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, just go to our website, www.nourishdoc.com. We are coming out with an app this month, hopefully within the month of August. And it is going to be priced less than $10 a month. I want every woman in the world to have this, to feel empowered. So that's really what we are doing, is the power of knowledge, the power of information, and you can make the decisions yourself.
Yeah, excellent. I'll make sure I put the link both in the audio and the video. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that's all for the Speaking Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on speakingpodcast.com. Be sure to comment, give us a thumbs up, let us know what you thought, what we discussed about. Until next week, take care. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. As mentioned at the start, you'll find my 6 podcasts on bio.link/podcaster. And also, if you'd like to start a podcast or do a podcasting tour, you'll find the information on that or on the QR code that's there. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating, and share with your friends because it really helps. And also, I'd like to thank DanielPackard.com, helping people with fear, doubt, and anxiety. He's got a 90% success rate, and he's only charging if he helps you. So be sure to check him out, and you get a free call to discuss everything. Until next week, take care.